don't think for one second that their utter contempt for you as a vapor, it's because you're a vapor, it's because you're a smoker that happens to vape. The left and progressive lefts, they go nuts over tobacco companies. You know why they do that? Because it's a misdirection that's hiding their complicity in the promotion of tobacco in the media, entertainment, fashion, culture. The left were smokers. They were the most diehard smokers. And they've owned the cultural institutions. They've owned education. They've owned film, television, music, books, novels, comics, everything. They owned it. It was the progressive left and the left that sold us on smoking. They made it cool. Don't think that evangelical right-wing Christians in the 1950s were the ones that made cancer sticks cool. All of that money, the money that comes from big tobacco and it goes into tobacco control, the money that comes from pharma and goes into tobacco control, the money that comes from Bloomberg and goes into tobacco control, that's all going into the control of progressives. There isn't any free market person, libertarian, individualist, anywhere at the end of where that money goes. I don't care where the money's coming from. I care where the money's going. And the money is going 100% to progressive leftists. 100%. They own the media. They own the media. And that's what you've been seeing in the media over the course of the last 3 months, is the exercising of their totalitarian muscles to not just control the narrative, but just to completely redefine it out, right? They've got no qualms. See, all of the left political sides, whether that's the progressive left or the left or communists, or they're all the same anyhow, so just different varying degrees, they're all trying to level. They've been doing this for 250 years, maybe even longer. The only way to level is to crush. That's the only way. So you have to crush each individual. You have to crush people with money. You have to crush. You have to crush the entire Western civilization, and that's what multiculturalism is. It's about crushing the individuality, which is at the center of the Western civilization. And if you're crushing Western civilization, well, you'll take vaping with it, of course, because the whole argument for vaping is an individual argument. I am an individual. The resentment and envy they feel for others is the root cause of this constant desire to level. Now, you can't level up. If there's one thing that has been proven, certainly in the last 150 years, certainly in the 20th century, certainly in the last 20 years of this new century, is that no matter how much money you throw at the bottom, that does not lift it up. And it's this malevolence that's showing up in its entirety in their total manipulation of language and their complete bald face, their unbelievable ability to just lie their faces off as public health professionals, as doctors. They've got no morals. They don't believe in truth. They see science as a truth-making process. And for them, it's about a mountain of science. It's not even one piece of science. It's just one after another after another. But I don't think that it is unreasonable to hammer home more than once that the CDC is guilty of treachery and malevolence, which means harm done on purpose. If you take a look around in the entire landscape, you have to start putting labels to the enemy. You just can't tell me that science is just going to work this out. Science is gone. Science is corrupt. Science is toasted. And that's fine, because the progressive left never even cared about science. They never cared about science. Look, we're just talking about science. I mean, honestly, I'm like all pro people, individuals having their choices and being treated with respect. Absolutely, right? So I don't have a problem with transgender. I have every problem with it being used as a tool to control everybody else, which it clearly is. controlling thought, controlling speech. It probably certainly will at some point control your freedom. Like there will be people that will be detained over this issue. Science is not a process of discovering the truth for the progressive left. Science is a process of manufacturing the truth. And then with vaping, of course, I mean, there's just all of this garbage, crap research. Just brutal, unbelievable. How could they say that? Still 5 years later, oh my God, Jesus, stop it. No, enough, had enough. But those that are against vaping, you know, the whole manifest lot of them, they're thugs. Part shakedown racket, right? And so they see that eventually, right, you're going to just basically scream uncle. That's what they're looking for, is you to scream uncle. It's the same thing they're doing with Trump, but it's not Trump that they're trying to get to scream uncle. It's the American people. From the second that he won, literally the instant that he won, the entire plan is to shriek, to badger, to harass, just unleash the demons of the worst part of the resentment and envy. They're trying to get the American people to scream uncle and go, I've had enough. And Hillary Clinton in the springtime basically said that, said, you know, this will all only end when a Democrat gets elected president. This is not an attack on Trump. This is a constant, relentless attack in a thuggish manner on the American people in a totality. We just want it to stop. Please make it stop. When will this be over? You should be, every single vapor should be able to look at, every single citizen should be able to look at the issue with President Trump and divorce yourself from President Trump, right? Think of it, it does not matter that it's President Trump. The level of witch hunting, right? The lying, the leaking, the complete total breaking of laws by the administrative state in its, and what the politicians are saying on the left is just beyond anything that has ever happened in the history of the country. The assault on Trump is the exact same assault on Western civilization. It's just so vicious and visceral because he's drawn it to him, right? That's what he said, give it to me. That's why he got elected. That's why the deplorables elected him, because he said, I'm going to take this.